have loved both bands forever. But then Deedle and Matt's band went and recorded with Stefan. And they got to know him personally, and they would just bug him about stuff.
Yeah, when we recorded, we were in the studio with Stefan and we're handing him the guitar, and it's like, play Scary Sad, which is a crazy all song. And, play this. And we barely got anything done, because we were like these mega fans. And so we started talking about the idea of a film. All of us kind of work in video and film industry. We're a bunch of editors, basically, and Justin's a great DP and a director, too. And we're like, man, we've got the people to do this, and nobody's told this story yet. I mean, there's very little Descendents stuff. There's like one kind of bootleg book called Readage that's out there, but other than that, there's not really the big deal, and it's like, this is the Descendents, So we're like, yeah, I guess we'll do it. And it's been a long road, but it started small and just talking to Stefan, and then we started showing up to things and just filming, and it was right around the time when they started coming back. I mean, we didn't know that was going to happen. We didn't know about Bill's illness, and it just all timed out right, and it worked out.
Perfect storm, as you would call it.
Yeah, so that's how it happened.
Anybody else?
This where were you? Yeah, right here.
I was just wondering why you don't want to talk about Frank's death so I can get some closure. I mean, it's just he moved to Oregon.
It was a super bummer.
Fire, and didn't he get arrested for burning his house down?
Bonus features is to keep you coming back.
Sorry to bring it up.
Yeah,
all right.
It's Frank and Bill had a close relationship till Frank's death. Frank would come stay with Bill in Fort Collins once a year. They'd go on a big fishing trip, and they actually recorded some old Descendents music, like in 2002 and 2006 with Tony. So there's some old Descendents songs floating around with the original lineup that still just Bill has. So maybe someday that'll surface, but Frank, he had health issues, and at times some people thought he may have been a schizophrenic, and he's crazy, he's like a genius guy. He's a genius, but a lot of geniuses are crazy, and I think that's Frank, and he died of a diabetic coma. That's what Bill told us, and it wasn't like a big rock star kind of thing. I mean, Frank was doing his own thing, and lived up in Oregon, and he was kind of out of the limelight for so long, and so I mean, we have it'll be out there on the bonus stuff. There's everybody kind of weighs in on it, Bill does, and Carl and Stefan, and you'll see kind of their take on it, but it's a good tribute to him,
Thank you.
Back there in the brown shirt, glasses, black shorts, you had a question earlier? No? Oh, it was behind you, sorry.
What band do you like better?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's all the same kind of to me, but I'm an all guy. Like, I was one of the people was an all fan first, and so it's heartbreaking to me, to kind of tell the story kind of how it is, I mean, the all fans are diehard, and we go to the shows, and there's 100 of us there or whatever, but I got into these guys during all, because I'm too young to have been around in '83. I mean, I was 3 years old. So, but I mean, I love the Descendents. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's just I love it all. I mean, there's a couple of stinkers on some of those all records. Come on, we all know that. But Hot Plate. But
Egg timer.
come on. Anyways, so yeah, that's me.
I'm a Descendants fan first and then an all fan second, but Chad Price is a kind of better than Milo song sometimes, so it's hard for me to decide sometimes.
I'm probably more like Needle in that, I probably am more of an all fan, but, after doing this project, it's hard to even draw, for me anyway, it's hard to make them their own separate entities.
I think it has to do with when you get into something, it's like, I'm sure people that got into Descendants when they were 15 or 14 or whatever, that's their thing, and so it's kind of the same deal with us, it's like that's all was when I was a teenager, so that's why it's so important to me.
What was your guys' personal favorite parts of You Found There?
My part is the fan part at the end. It's kind of near the fan, like kind of near the end where just the people without their names at the bottom just talking about it. I always feel like goosebumps. I always feel like that's the best part of the movie when it's just like anyone in this audience could be interviewed, not like fucking Dave Grohl or whatever. And it's like, you just feel like it. You feel like it's way more meaningful because it's not some guy that's a musician that needs to say something good about them in the documentary. It's just people on the side of the street that we just like, tell us what you think, you know, that's how.
For me, I liked Bill's, so what if 50 people like your band, then 50 people like your band, It's like, especially as the story has unfolded to that point, and you've seen their struggles, and you want them to succeed, and then, you just see this guy who's just like, fuck it, like if that's 50 people show up to my all show, 50 people show up, and this was like, it's goosebumps every time for me.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of favorite stuff. I think leading into that, kind of dealing with the whole dichotomy between All and Descendents, that's probably my favorite thing. It's having all those guys kind of weigh in on that whole thing, because, it's like their legacy, and you get these guys that were in All, and it's just never, they've always been in Milo's shadow and Descendants' shadow, and it's just, I just think it's a real interesting thing. It's mind-boggling sometimes, that it's just like, get that Milo head on there, and it's like, pandemonium, and then, put Allroy on there, and same songwriters, just different singer, and I understand, I mean, it makes sense, like how it's portrayed in the film. I think it really kind of represents the reality of it, so I think that's probably my favorite part.
Did you guys approach Henry Rollins? He seems to always want to chime in on just about anything.
Yeah, Henry, that is, he was on we had a big list of who we'd want, and Henry was originally on there, but as we kept going, we're like, he's obviously part of the story of Southern California and Black Flag and South Bay and all that, but we wanted this to be, more the Descendants and those people directly connected with that story, and while Bill was in with Black Flag and with Henry, I think we just decided to, maybe go with Kara or Chuck, people that, a little different take on it. And so,
feel left out.
yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Everybody gets Henry.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would have done it, but we didn't approach him or try to.
Any more questions? I think we have time for one more.
How much did the band have to do with the process of the actual thing? Nothing? Basically, you just interviewed them and they had no say on that? Pretty
much. I mean, they helped us get in access to the shows, these recent shows to film, and took care of that stuff. And even that's really just kind of Stefan sending their tour manager a text, hey, take care of these guys. So, Bill, each time when we filmed stuff with each one of them, we usually got a day with them, and so we got to go to Bill's house and got a little footage with his family, and that's when he handed us the mother load of boxes of photos and stuff. And but they really didn't have that much of hands-on on really anything specific.
He did help us get the Dave Grohl interview.
Yeah, we worked to get Dave Grohl for a year, and finally Bill just had to email him directly, and then it was like that, So that was pretty cool.
We'll be outside selling merchandise.
And yeah, please donate to the theater here.
Thanks for donating every time.